Good afternoon. Another Wednesday of building wealth with wisdom. That is our ultimate goal. That is the basis on which we share with you guys every other Wednesday. Now, when the time is rolling around to do another one and we're chatting amongst ourselves, what should we share with them this time? What is a subject that we feel could be highly valuable to them that we have learned ourselves, right? Because we don't try to give you guys anything that we haven't learned. And this time, I'm going to let Eva, my beautiful friend Eva Schmidt from Canada, who has been really not just a friend, but a mentor to me in many ways in this business, because she's different than me. And so she has a different way of sharing with others than I have. And I love the subject that she chose for today. So I'll let her go ahead and introduce that and get started.
Thank you, Brenda. Awesome. Yeah, this is a topic that I'm into right now because I think it's so important. And it comes around every so often where you have to renew your mind about who you truly are and why you're truly here and what you're doing. And so I believe that you can build, so our topic is, if you saw the graphic, our topic is about confidence through your true identity and who you are. I believe that you can build confidence through action. Like there's a level of confidence you can build by just doing the actions, pushing through, doing the things, and then you have the evidence of like, okay, this works. I'm good at this. I can do this. And but there's a true confidence that you have when all of that goes away. When you aren't in action, you feel low, you don't have you're like starting comparing yourself to people, you're starting to like question, and then somehow you connected your confidence to the work that you already built. And that kind of goes away and you no longer feel that confidence. So that's what I want to talk about, the true confidence that comes from not just what you built and how far you've come and what rank you're at or what you've accomplished so far. That brings confidence, but I want to talk about the real confidence that comes from your mind and who what you know, what you think about yourself, that comes from the truth of who you are. So so yeah, I just wanted to cover that. Confidence does come from building and creating actions and doing things that like give you evidence. Yeah, I'm good at this. But then what happens when that goes away? When you're not in action, when you're like don't feel like showing up. What is happening in your mind? What are the things that you're telling yourself? What are the things you're comparing yourself to? Um, that's when I love how wisdom that we learn in the Bible and wisdom stands the test of time. Like it always is. It always stands. It's always the truth. It always stands. That is the same as your identity. Like that is why it ties so good together with wisdom, um, being something that stands the test of time, and true confidence comes from your true identity, which stands the test of time. It doesn't matter where you are at or what things are happening in your life, that stands. It's the same as, so you're going to get me on this exciting topic. It's the same as the difference between happiness and joy. You can do things that make you feel happy,
Yeah.
but what if those things go away? Do you have the true joy that is there without the happy things? Those comes from a deeper place. So I guess it's story time because in the very beginning when I started this business, which is like almost 12 years ago, I had a ton of things that came and I was already saved. I am assuming everyone here is believes in God and is Christian because they came to this they saw the graphic and related to it and wanted to be on here and that's their belief. Um uh I was born again, saved Christian when I started this and that helped me a lot because when the fears started coming up and they did right away as soon as I started, it was like, who do you think you are? You're gonna turn into this like weird like rich fancy person who doesn't give a rip about people and is just annoying and stupid. I don't know, like dumb things would come up and everyone will hate you. You'll lose all your friends and nobody will talk to you and people think you're dumb and people think, and it was just so much that comes right when you start. And this will happen in different stages of, it's not just in the beginning, and sometimes you feel like you got to hold a handle on it. And then it'll come later, like a couple years later, it'll come like a new batch. And that's why it's always a renewing of the mind, right? Um, w- I realized early on that if I want to do this, I knew I wanted to do this long term because I'm going diamond and I'm helping tons of people go diamond. And so I knew that this was going to be a long-term thing for me. So anytime something, a hurdle came in my business, I felt the need to find out like the true cure for it. So I didn't have to always deal with it on and on and on because I hated how it felt. So this was one of those things. Um, if I'm always dealing with negative thoughts coming to me or negative things being said about me and those affecting me, then what is the true cure for that? Like, I don't want to feel this every day in my business. I want to succeed. So I recognized really quickly that I would have to believe what God says about me, what is actually true about the situation over what I feel and over what someone has said. It has to be that way and have to practice it. It has to be like, it's kind of almost like, um, what's it called, Brenda? What's it called when you're like naive, like,
Just like
like
the childlike faith or
yeah,
innocence.
childlike belief
Mhm.
in what you're doing and who God says you are. Like with almost like in a how am I'm trying to describe this in a way, almost in a way that's seems silly or seems like how I can't really put my words together on this part. But yeah, if somebody has like the words that blissful ignorance, yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, if you have the words that I'm trying to say, you can put them in the chat for that part. But and you can also drop things in the chat of what kind of things came up for you or are coming up for you right now that make you feel like hesitant to move forward or hesitant to like go all in or like be the plexus person, be the leader, be the person that you know you can be, that people can look up to, but something, some thought or some feeling is like holding you back. You can put those in the chat and then we can talk those through later if we have time. Um, but I put together a list of some of the common ones that definitely um, came up for me and I get from other people. But I want to share um, yeah, there's two options you have when something like this comes up. You can push through it, just push through it, like push it aside and just like I'm not no pushing it aside and just working through it. Um, which is fine sometimes, but it'll come back around much quicker when you do this, or you can recognize what's happening. Like just pause for a second and recognize what's happening, where it's coming from, why it's happening, and then trading it for the belief. I remember the very first Plexus training I went to was Sonia and Helen sharing mindset training, and she was talking about how this your mindset is like this room that's full of old broken furniture that is just and you want to redo this room, like you want a brand new room, you want to feel different about this room, and so you move all the junky furniture out, it's breaking down, it's like peeling, it's like horrible, you move it all out and then you have this room and you painted it and it's beautiful, but now you don't have furniture, so you're like, I guess I need a couch to sit on. And so you go and get your old couch from outside that you just carried in and bring it back inside because you didn't replace it. You didn't replace it. I know Sonia's way better at sharing this if you've ever heard Sonia share mindset stuff, but you have to replace it or it will just come back way sooner because your habit is believing the old thing, bringing back the old thing. That's a habit. It's just literally science, how your brain works. It just like repeats the same thoughts because it's already a path that's created there. And so you have to replace it with the truth. So I want to go over some kind of common ones that come up. Um, when someone feels like I'm just not cut out for this, the truth is you're not here by accident. And God doesn't waste time that he gave you. God doesn't waste things that he gave you or gifts that he gave you. You are cut out for this. Another one is I don't know enough yet. Like a lot of people don't share because they feel like, oh, someone else knows way more about the products, way more about the business. Like I could never say anything that would be like worth saying. Um, but you are a student. That's the truth. The truth is you're a student and all good leaders are learners. Um, and your growth is just evidence that you're on the right path. Um, yeah, I would love if anybody else had some that they would love to share and that we can just like give them the truth of it instead. People will judge me. Are you building for other people? Other people, you're not building for their applause. You're building from a place that's for you and your family and God calling. So, what does it matter if people are judging, if that thing is actually happening? Um, I don't have the influence, like nobody will listen to me. If you have helped one person make a good decision in their life, that is the definition of leader because you've influenced something onto someone into a better path. So you do have influence. You are a leader. You can show people how to do this. You just need to do it more. Um, I've failed before. I've reached a certain point and now I can't do it any further. Failing is part of the process. Failing is part of the process. We don't go anywhere without failing. How have you done anything in your life without failing? There's no one that has done anything perfect. They've always like learning along the way. And so, yeah, which one did I don't have value to share or to bring. That's a good one, Sarah, because that will often come up too, because you'll be in a chat with someone who's like giving all this amazing information or all this amazing like you know amazingness that's come from their brain, and you feel like you don't have that. But it's because it's you do have that. You're not willing to share because you're wondering what people think about it, but it's not that you don't have that. You do have value to share. Everyone has those gifts and everyone has value to bring. Reading the comments always like throws me off so much. So Brenda, if you see one, you can just throw it out there and share your truth of it too.
Well, the next one was the people that I know don't want it, can't afford it. And my first thought is, well, then you haven't really asked the right questions. But a better truth to that would be, um, there are so many people that are waiting to hear from me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really most of what you listed. You talked about truth over feelings. So many of these feelings only come about because we're actually saying lies. We make it up, in other
Mm-hmm.
words. And
Yeah.
that's one of those.
Yeah. And so that's going to be some of your, we don't, I don't think Brenda usually gives homework on these, but I'm going to give you some homework to do. But to actually like, first of all, pause when this is happening and actually recognize what's happening and what's coming in and what truth you need to replace it with.
Hmm.
Like actually write it down so you can cross out the lie and write the truth. And and it takes time to like create those new pathways in your brain because it is habit. And so at the very beginning, when I was working through a lot of these, they only come back every now and then where I'm like, sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm in that place again where I'm like really questioning myself or really wondering if I can do this part or whatever it is, or like nobody's going to hear from me and my story is too old, my like whatever stuff's coming up. I just the most important part is like recognizing when it's happened so you're not repeating it endlessly and doing it for months on end so that you're not like wasting your time. And like
Hmm.
I think that is one of the biggest things is like wasted time of you being in your head, and then you're missing out on all the goodness that could have happened during that time if you would have just like moved into action from a place of like the truth about me and what God says is true. I hate wasted time. So
Yeah.
that's like a big deal to me. Um, um, Another thing I wrote down, and I think maybe I said this, but when you work from a place of identity, the objections don't phase you as easily. So that when it comes back, it doesn't phase you as easily because it's like, oh, I already went through this. I already know the truth about this, and you can process it so much faster. And you can always know that you were meant to be here for a greater purpose and for your family, and what someone else says is not part of that. It's just not part of that. They don't pay your bills. I know we say this all the time, but that's like they don't. So you don't need to have like other people's opinions or thoughts or things like affecting you. But we do need to make the habit of like canceling that out. So, but the last thing I want to say is like be compassionate. Like sometimes I feel like upset at myself for like having to deal with the same thing over and over. Or like I thought I dealt with this like 5 years ago and now I feel like stuck on it. And just want to I have to remind myself to be very compassionate to myself and know that this can happen and it doesn't make you like bad or anything like that. And then final reminder, like you're not better than anyone else, and no one is better than you. Like every single person has God-given gifts and strengths that help them with exactly what they need to do. And we're given the ability to learn other things that we haven't or don't know how to do. So, yeah, there's just no reason to be stuck in one place when it comes to mindset because you have the power to switch it and believing in exactly who God says you are. Brenda, do you have stuff to add? That's kind of all I had on the subject. I feel like it's very simple and doable. It just takes like active mindset work.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like you dropped so many truth bombs that I don't even need to add anything. It's just that it's interesting. Some of the things I wrote down falls exactly under some of the things you said. Um, I like how you started out with saying this is something that pops up now and then. And I'm like, yeah, because after 12 years, it still pops up for me. It is a real thing that does have to become something that we become aware of, and then we tackle it. We get that old furniture out and we replace it. And that old furniture somehow wants to still kind of find its way back because it was comfortable.
Yeah.
And we have to continually practice those habits of the new, replacing with the new. So I loved those examples you gave. We can all do that. So I agree. Homework. Write some of those things down. And when you catch yourself saying something about yourself that is not in confidence, and it's probably not truth, it's probably a story we made up to
Mhm.
comfort ourselves, change it and write down a better one.
Mhm. And
I'll go ahead.
oh, no, you go ahead. I want to
Nope.
hear your thoughts. So, okay. Just to bring it back to the very beginning, because I think that this is it's a big deal, that you can gain a certain level of confidence from accomplishing a certain amount of things, a certain rank, a certain whatever it was that you wanted to do, and you get to a certain point and then you feel stuck. You can gain confidence from doing that. But when the action or the thing that you created or the thing is like disappearing or going away or your points are going down or your rank, whatever it is for you, that suddenly makes you feel like I no longer have something to say. I no longer have something to share. I no longer feel confident telling somebody about this because of where I'm at, your imposter syndrome. That is truly where this work comes in because now you know what it feels like to be in momentum and in motion and be able to, you're good at this, you can get to a certain point, you have confidence from it, but like, what is the confidence that stays with you when those things are not there? Where does that confidence come from? So you have to dig deep into recognizing and really being proud of the gifts that God gave you, really being proud of what you can do because he's giving you the power to do it and acting on those. Showing people and not comparing yourself. Like that's where the true work comes in when you get to a place like that. I feel very passionate about that because I work on that myself when I feel that comparison or I feel that I know that I'm here and meant for more than to be stuck because someone's looking and thinking, oh well, they're no longer this. Their points are this. They haven't signed anybody up in 3 months or whatever it is. Like that is so small in comparison to who you truly are.
I love that. And I often think, what would this look like for us if what other people said had zero effect on us, as far as, the negative stuff particularly? What if everybody was cheering you on? What if
Yeah.
none of that mattered? Where would you be in your confidence?
Yeah.
Um, when we first talked about this subject, I just reflected on that. for a minute, like what would I say if I had to sum it up? Why confidence and your identity and who you are matters. And I think for me, and I hope a lot of you can identify with this, but I had a purpose for my life in Christ, in my marriage, in my family. I had a purpose and I had a vision for my future, for my family, for what I wanted to accomplish on this earth as a wife and mother and for my family and for generations. And because of that purpose and that vision, this business just was perfect to help
Mm-hmm.
me fulfill that purpose and that vision.
Mm-hmm.
So it just gives me chills again to think about how that just it was just part of it. And so it became part of my identity, part
Mm-hmm.
of my purpose, part of my life, part of who I am. And it was based on that confidence that I was able to overcome a lot of the negativity that I did receive and that I still receive. Um, I get a lot of, I still to this day can get people saying some pretty nasty things towards me, but it just doesn't matter because I know why I'm doing this. I know exactly it was an answer to prayer as part of our purpose and our vision for our family. So I hope that just blesses some of you guys to just always come back to that. Just like Eva said, um, you're not here by accident. That right there is should give you enough confidence to continue to share. And the other thing you said that I had written down was when you're confident, you are not in your head so much.
Mm-hmm.
You're not like, it's not about me and thinking about me and my issues and my overthinking and me. You are serving, you are reaching out, you are blessing others. You become much more outward focused.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reason to tell yourself truths and build confidence.
I love that, Brenda. I think we wrapped it up.
I want to close with a verse that has meant so much to me, always over and over and over when I am looking at what's the next thing I should be doing, how should I be doing this? And that is Proverbs 16:9. Read it here so I get it right. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directs his steps. To me, that has always meant I have in my heart what I would like to achieve. And I step out and I do that. I take a little action on a dream or a goal or something. But the Lord always directs, and I can be okay with that, knowing that if I leave it in his hands, he will direct. So that has been a confidence builder verse for me, and I thought I would just share that with you guys. Anybody have any quick something you want to drop in the chat for us yet? Erica shared being stuck in her head is the worst space to be in. Amen. It's just not good. Okay. Your head is a bad neighborhood. Yeah, just me, myself, and I. Well, thanks so much, Eva, for being on here and sharing all that beautiful, confident stuff with us. This was a lot of Eva's idea. You could tell she's passionate about the subject. I hope it blessed you guys today.
Thanks for hopping on. Love seeing you all.
Yes, take care. We'll see you next time.